Are Night Runners any good in patch 5.2? I left this for later for ages because I wasn't one who had done lots of Eshin campaigns. That's fine. This is for the unit without specific Eshin buffs, and that does make them better, no question, but they're far from useless for everyone else. So let's get into what Ratfu can do for you. Recruited for 500 gold and 125 upkeep, Night Runners come at 120 entities on Ultra scale in a world where a lot of missile units come at 90 or 80 entities. Health is 6,720 unit wide, armor a mere 10, but dodge on the unit card is represented as 20% physical resistance. This means magical attack will treat them as having tissue paper for armor. Leadership begins at 48, which isn't tremendous, especially given how they'll be expected to act away from the Lord. Speed is 54 default on foot, and besides specific Lord boosts, the tech tree will boost this a little regardless. Charge speed 60. Melee attack is 24 to start with, plus an attack interval of 4.3, which isn't super low. Skaven have a funny datamine stat quirk, but the 0 splash of its size means no splash damage. Melee defense starts at a mere 14, but this is, as usual, a pants-on-fire lying statistic because of strength in numbers. Weapon strength comes at 26, split between 20 base and 6 armor piercing, which is not exceptional in any way. Charge bonus is 12 and mass is 90, which is still higher than Tomb King's light infantry. To spoil, this is a fire whilst moving unit, using shurikens, rat ninjas. Ammunition starts at 10, range 70, missile damage coming at 17 nominally, with each strike doing 10 base damage and 2 armor piercing. This is an important pair of numbers. The unit will hurt regular dwarfs, but not nearly as much as you would like. Projectile category of musket simply means the trajectory is flat, so you need a true line of sight to the target. For a skirmishing fire whilst moving unit, this is not too hard, but you need to be aware you're not necessarily getting optimal volleys that way. Reload time of 7 is fairly speedy, so they'll go through the shurikens fast. Total accuracy of 20 is standard, and it always gets better with rank. Calibration distance of 40 means they'll be extra accurate at closer range, but of course that's danger close. And calibration area of 1.8 means that they're pretty accurate, even against man-things, unless at the very edge of their range. There is no penetration of targets. Besides fire whilst moving, they get Vanguard deployment, hide in forest, and the running faster while fleeing and slower while coherent, plus 6 leadership and plus 8 melee defense, while strength in numbers holds. Since their default foot speed is so high, running away makes it hard to chase them down properly. Now, we also have the Night Runners with slings. Most melee statistics are identical, but charge bonus is 10 rather than 12. The ranged weapon is of course much different, with ammunition at 22 volleys, 140 range, nominal damage 14, actual damage per hit base 10, but only 1 armor-piercing damage. That's very important to know. Reload time of 8 isn't actually bad or anything. Total accuracy of 25, calibration distance of 85 is decent. Calibration area of 4 means that this is a lot more scattershot than the shurikens, but not as much as massed arrows from many archer units. While this unit has Vanguard deployment and other knickknacks, it does not have fire whilst moving, so they have to stop facing the enemy to swing and fire the slings just as much as handgunners or crossbowmen. This heavily changes how you use the unit. In the redline skills, Infiltrator at 3 pips grants plus 10% to speed for Night Runners. Told you it'll get boosted. Also, 9% reload time reduction, which makes the shurikens fly even faster. At rank 7, Gutter Wise adds plus 5 leadership and plus 15% range, which is interesting, if not necessarily for the base unit, then for the Slingers, because at that point, they'll slightly outrange some ranged opposition, or be at least equal in range to others. Keep in mind, it's still 120 entities. In the tech tree, Enormous Caches from way off in the Ferocious tree offers plus 25% ammunition for infantry quote-unquote, but the other benefits are weapon team specific and Vermintide specific. The rest is in devious plans. Hit and Run adds a flat plus 10% speed bonus to all infantry including these. Fight Dirty adds 10% to weapon strength and missile strength, both variants. Intensive Training is simply plus 2 recruit rank, and Abduct Promising Candidates reduces recruitment cost and upkeep by 5% respectively. So how do we use the Night Runners? Obviously, a lot of that depends on which variant you have, but basically you want to group skirmishers together a bit and gang up on important targets. This is a hard unit to rate in isolation. You have to look at the fact that 20% physical resistance and effectively 24 melee attack and 22 melee defense base is very strong against, let's say, normal Empire missile troops. They'll win that engagement. Any potshots taken with shurikens or softening up volleys with a sling before charging in are frosting on the cheese. But these stats are pretty bad against bog standard swordsmen. Attacking from rear behind is your preferred option. In some battles, skirmishers exist to annoy the enemy into action. In others, they're there to loop around slower infantry and hit the back line, but without benefits. They don't have stock available, so that's a limiting factor. On the other hand, the upkeep is a lot kinder and less cruel than with more powerful weapons. Thus, what you want to do with the Night Runners can change battle to battle and even second to second. Unlike the AI, we can't respond in milliseconds, but even if we can't, we can carry a good idea of what we want to do. Night Runners are not literal fodder, but working even with basic clan rats and Skavenslaves will help surround targets and make breaking morale easier. I mean, if you can make opponents run, flee, and shank them in the back, why not do just that? Thus, Night Runners are lower-tier scavengers and opportunists on the field of battle. That's pretty much it for the Night Runners, and yes, the Slingers do less armor-piercing damage with their slings, but still, 22 ammunition, if they have time to inflict their damage, they're going to do a lot, even against dwarven targets. And of course, if they have time to hit Slayer units, they'll just shred those units, so they have uses. Take care, and have fun owning the Knights.